Sound test. 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 Okay. Seems like it's working. I could be louder. Yeah. Test. Test. Charles, how are you? Waiting for people. Wait. Test. Test. Yeah. Okay. Max is here. Waiting for 5 more minutes. I actually prepared a presentation today for us, more about the vision. As people start understanding more and more about what we actually do in terms of the tech side. And tech side is actually not that exciting anymore. Well, before the box is available. For the box, by the way, really quickly. So Coinbase Pro is done. BitHump, Korean exchange. I mean, Paul, if you're listening to this, with all due respect, it's a really bad exchange. It's a good exchange, but the APIs are really inconvenient. So therefore, I mean, and BigQuant takes forever to verify your funds. So what we're gonna do seems like, and I need to run this by Max, but I would like to ideally just finish BitHump. Hopefully tonight. We're testing today with developer, tonight/tomorrow. If that's the case, don't want to do any false promises anymore. But if that's the case, if BitHump is finished, we'll compile the project Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, send it to you guys for the test. It's just going to be Coinbase Pro and BitHump. BQuant, who knows how much time it will take them to, you know, it will take them to verify the funds. I have no idea. Verify the funds meaning the money is sent and some KYC AML processes take place. By the way, Latin America cannot participate in BQuant, so we'll have to do Heat BTC for them. Just FYI. Okay, what? 2 more minutes. Okay, Jordi is writing to me. He wants to connect. Jordi is from Spain. He wants to connect. I mean, I like the fact that we are also like Chelsea here, so I guess I'll say that right away. Oh, who's there? I just want to say to the people who deserved it. And that's Charles, that's Eric, that's Pedro. That's Apirat actually. Okay. And Jordi is here too. Kevin, how are you? Just wanted to say, I'll meet you guys. I mean, I'm waiting for Eric to join as well. And Pedro, I'm not sure if Pedro will join. But guys, what happened? I told Charles about this before through Skype, personal chat. Well, whatever, me and him chat. Whatever happened, like I really don't know why it is working like this, and I still ask myself, and I'm trying to do as much research as possible on the topic as I've been doing the last 6 months. And it really sucks that our community, and it's not a group, it's not a forum, it is a group of people. It's not like an online group. We are an actual community, and we proved that we are an actual community where we can protect each other, etc. And I'm not really sure why that kind of brotherhood is only appearing when fuckers like, what's his name, that guy that we banned, comes to us and starts basically like, picking on us. And I mean on us because literally, if you pick on somebody, you pick on the whole group. That's how it works. And you guys proved it. And again, I don't know why it's only showing it, like the brotherhood is only showing itself like when shit hits the fan. But I'm very happy that we actually were able to stand our ground. I mean, we'll have more and more trolls going forward, and we'll definitely have more and more true believers going forward as well. So everybody who helped us show everybody else in the group that we are strong, respect, and thank you very much. And the reason why I'm stressing this, I mentioned that to Charles as well. I don't know why, lots of people who were unsure about RoninAi before, or who tried the free trial and disappeared, or who joined the group and never asked for a free trial, all these people started messaging me right after that day. And it happens like this for the second time in a row. The first time in a row were those two other guys that we also banned. Charles, you remember those two guys who did not believe in the bullish market, uh, and were just saying stuff just to say it. So I'm not sure again why it's happening like this, but it's happening like this. So thank you very much. Because here's the thing, and I'll explain. Today I prepared a very good presentation, I think, just more vision-wise. We do need to stand as a community. The more and more I'm realizing it, the more I'm realizing that, like, without a community, just AI itself is not sufficient for us to make any change. Okay, we'll just become, you know, a good analytics platform. Again, nobody wants to die for it, and we're not going to be able to change the world. Businesses never change the world. It's all about the concepts. It's the organizations that do. So, and today I would like to talk about decentralized applications. So decentralized organizations, and what are some pillars of those decentralized organizations? I looked through my historical presentations that I give talks pretty often on the topic of blockchain, crypto, blah blah blah. So, and I apparently, like, I was also giving like a bunch of workshops before, and apparently I do have a bunch of slides on like decentralized stuff and how decentralized and blockchain are all connected. But I decided to just do it everything from scratch today, an hour before the webinar. I was preparing for this webinar for the whole week. Subconsciously, like conceptually, I was trying to figure out, you know, what topics we could cover. The reason why we need to move away from the technical side is because, to those of you who just joined, we are about to finish the box anyways, and the box was necessary. It's necessary to cover technical stuff when new technical stuff is, like, you know, it's not there, but it's coming, like, I don't know, a couple of months from now. But now it's really around the corner. The guy I would do, I'm asking now all the developers as possible to join our group as well, so they can see what they're working on. Because if they are not in the group, they don't see this community. We can say, yeah, we have this great people, but they don't see them, and it does not add too much inspiration to them. So the guy who joined wrote to me at 2 a.m. I was like about to pass out. He's like, hey, like, guys, by the way, you have a very good community. The guy who joined yesterday, who's working on the box right now, he's like, yeah, like, you have a very good community. I'm like, sure. And then he's like private messaged me. He's like, dude, like, I really like this project. I really like, you know, you guys, blah blah blah. You have a great project, great community. Let's do it. So, long story short, hopefully more devs that we have will be joining. So today, decentralized community. The reason why decentralized community topic is important is because, again and again and again, we need to specify the main reason why we have to act as one group. So if there are opportunities for us to, you know, to unite, to get to know each other better, we should use them. It's an actual family, and it seems like we do not need to have a big family. For Spartans, it was 300 people. That was enough. That was enough. 300 people. You know, if you guys saw the movie, and that's an actual historical event, these guys were able to, you know, put themselves against a huge Persian army, and yeah, they lost, but they're always in our hearts, and they did not fight for democracy. Let's let's like remove all that bullshit propaganda from the movie. But they were fighting for the fact that they were soldiers. They fought because they had to fight. Period. They were just doing what they had to do. Great guys. Reddit founder. There's a famous video. Reddit founder. Forgot his Greek whatever descent. So great guy, sweet guy. He said that it was only necessary to have 100 people, only 100 people, in order to grow Reddit. 100 true believers. Before, when I was watching that video, I'm watching it like multiple times. I think it was posted in 2000 something 15. I was watching multiple times on YouTube, and it was a long hour-long video, and he just basically spoke about the principles. I thought 100 people has to be 100, like just 100 people in your group. Well, we have 250 people in our group, but that's not what he meant. I think he meant the 100 people who are all very active. Right now, based on my computations of our believers group, you have about 15 of those guys, like, who are active. The other 10 believers are quiet, but the 15 believers, like, everybody who is here who is a believer, active. Every single person who is watching this webinar right now, active. Definition of active: participates, stands our ground, helps, distributes the project, like trying to understand the concept. Listen, who knows this project better than any, like, who knows this project the best? Not me, not me, Max, the brains behind this project, right? His developers know the tech side of this project really well. Like, I'm trying to get my head around the conceptual side as much as I can, because it has to be directly correlated to the tech side. And Max knows the tech side best. That's why he has those extrapolations he's had, how that could be applied to the business world, or to the, to what we do, so to the practical world. And you guys as well, like, even if you don't know the whole thing, doesn't matter. You guys are trying to get it, so that's the most important part. So if you have 100 of those active people, I was talking to Max yesterday. I'm like, wow, like, I was really pleasantly, like, surprised in how connected we became, how, like, we are family now. And if our family, like, of active people is 100, I think that's where we'll start making those exponential increases. So sales are important, of course, but it's much more important to bring people who understand our vision and also a member, right? So the sale itself is, the sale itself. Eric, how are you? We just finished it. I was supposed to wait for you. Eric, could you please watch the first 10 minutes of this webinar on the recording? But basically, I was saying thank you very much for to all of you guys who stood the ground. It's really important. 100 people, I think, guys. 100 people. We don't need more than 100 people active. After this, yeah, sure, it's going to be thousands, but we need 100 active people. We already have 15, I think, like, active. So, and Charles is writing, 100 believers is minimum of 100 boxes. Our average is 3. Each believer is buying 3 boxes on average, 2.5 to 3 boxes. So absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And that's exactly what we were saying before. We need 500 boxes total. That's exactly that number. It's not about the money. It's not about the nodes, although it's also very important. It's about those, those people fucking help, like, screaming everywhere, guys, this is good, helping. I messaged Bennett today. I was checking the project that he was burned on, very similar to what we do. Well, it sounds very similar to what we do. Yeah, this guy's got $2.5 million in funding on the ICO. Fucked up the entire project. And I was trying to, like, help him out, because the guy's clearly burned. He's bringing some negativity, so we had to make sure to educate him to not bring negativity in the chat, but he's a human being. Also, most importantly, people who doubt the most, usually people who doubt the most and hate the most, are usually the best believers after the fact. So because just like Eric said, people who doubt the most are the most intelligent people. People who hate the most are the most passionate people, right? So we just need to make sure that we don't push. We just need to make sure we educate. So long story short, let's do the thing. Let's do the presentation. Everybody's here. I was preparing, guys. I was really preparing. You guys, thank you so much. And now I need to probably prepare for my webinars better, like today. So these 4 pillars identified by Tezos. Great idea, bullshit project. That's how we're going to say that. Great idea, bullshit project. So they identified 4 pillars of a decentralized society. So no F-bombs. Okay, fine. Okay, so decentralized communication, decentralized law, decentralized production, decentralized economy. Okay, so these are the decentralized pillars of a decentralized society. Decentralized society, decentralized society means the following. How is it different from centralized society? In decentralized society, everybody has a say. People say democracy does not exist. I agree, democracy does not exist. I don't think democracy exists. Because it seems like there is democracy in United States of America, great country, Canada, Western Europe. But if you really think about this, it's all about the amount of money you have to move your political propaganda. Now, in other countries, such as Russia, where I'm from, Turkey, China, less of Brazil, some Latin American countries like Venezuela, it's all about, it's even more controlled, so it's even worse. So we're not going to say, well, democracy in the United States is not perfect, that's why it's just not perfect. No, it's the best. It's one of the best political political systems out there. Plus, the word democracy doesn't really mean much. It's still going to be the elite of people who manage the country. Yesterday, I was like thinking about how many people do control America. We have congressmen here, the president, judges, and the House of Representatives, right? So it's like 1,000 people, 2,000 people that control the entire country, pretty much. Well, how about you also take 500 or 1,000 military generals on top of that, and you take the CEOs of top 500 companies, and you take some hedge funds. Maybe 3,000 people, 5,000 people control the whole country. But it's not that they control the whole country. They control the whole world, because the country controls the whole world, this specific country, United States, because of absolutely genius approach to management and leadership. And now, how is that different from decentralized? Well, in a centralized country such as the United States or any other country, those 5,000 people control what you do. And you can disagree. You can say, Peter, that's not true. And I got to tell you my personal example. Yesterday was very, very hot. In New York, it's extremely freaking hot. And I had to buy something to drink. And since I'm becoming, no F-bombs, right? So since I'm becoming slowly a fat fuck, I decided to buy some soda. So the soda that I bought was obviously whatever, like you buy 4 things at the same time for some kind of discount. Okay, so the deal was this: for something, bottles of something, $4. How much did I pay? I did not pay $4. I paid $6 and like almost $7, right? So I paid 75% higher compared to what the advertisement was. Now you'll say, well, Peter, this is just a state law. Just it's a sales tax, state law. How about you just, chill? And I'll say, no. My first reaction is, who is really behind this sales tax? And I'm thinking, well, probably corporations right away, right? Because this store in particular, or all the stores in the state of New York, they do want to make sure that the advertising price is something and the actual sales price is different, higher, therefore they have fatter margins. But I'm thinking, but who else is behind this? Cannot just be corporations. It has to be the politicians as well. Why? Because they can raise the sales tax and nobody will know. Because if, for example, they do the law, approve the law, such as, like, I'm pretty sure in Europe, definitely in Russia, where you look at the price and whatever that price is, that's exactly what you pay. There's no bullshit sales tax, right? If the sales tax all of a sudden is going up, then the price for that specific item will also go up, and people will notice. But people don't notice. Like in my head, I paid $4 for 4 whatever, something that I purchased, bottles of that sugar water. Right, so like in my head it's 4 for 4, but in reality I paid 75% higher. That's centralization, right? So they completely control even my daily routine, right? Like just what I consume products. Not even saying about education, not even saying about work, not saying about taxes, whether it's income taxes or capital gains taxes. So, and this is just a simple example. What about car, like insurances and all that stuff? Rent and rent control, and all the other political agenda they have, right? So they do what they have to do. Like, we're not here to judge. We're just saying that that's a centralized country. Now, decentralized definitely means that whoever is involved in a decentralized organization definitely has to have more responsibility. And you guys wrote yesterday specifically to Banner that, like, no, we're not going to sell the bucks, dude, because you are responsible for the entire node of the network. And Pedro said the same thing in the Spanish chat and Latin American chat, same exact thing. Every single person, of course, has to be more responsible, because every single person matters. It's a node. And obviously, as a decentralized organization, the whole point is to make sure that user interface and user experience is much easier and much more simplified for each node, to make sure that the node can operate. So because there's a lot of responsibility that node in particular, because that node is a human being, has to have in his or her daily life, work, pay tax, sustain the family, trying to save up and grow the wealth, blah, blah, blah. Plus also be part of this decentralized organization, which hopefully will do some damage. So obviously, yeah, but still, each person is responsible to be a very conscious member of this decentralized organization. Does not work the other way around, unfortunately. So those people who just want the bucks for the sake of making money, great. They're not part of us. They're really not part of us. Why? They're going to pay us money, And for that money, it ends up being $100 a month. And for that money, we have to deal with all the bugs they have. And the bugs will be like this: oh, my bugs doesn't work. And the answer will be, did you plug it in? And they're like, no, I didn't. Okay, plug it in. They plugged it in, it works. And then like, oh, my box doesn't work anymore. Did you pay for your Wi-Fi? Oh, I didn't. Okay, how about you go and pay for your Wi-Fi, internet, whatever bill? And he pays, and now it works. For the most part, 90% of the things is gonna be like this, right? The people who will just buy it, they will have all the bullshit problems, all the bullshit bugs. They will just take away our time for no reason. And then the answer that our marketing team suggests is like, hey, how about we just hire a very good, what's it called? Customer support team, right? That's a solution, and we'll train them. Okay, good fucking luck. Who will be training them? Not the marketing team. I'll be training them, because marketing team doesn't know what the fuck is going on. They don't understand what's going on. That's why they're not part of the project, really. They're helping us. Even the articles they write, we gotta probably rewrite. And that's actually very serious what I said in the main group. They're not part of the group. They're not active parts of the group. Yeah, some of these guys are co-founders. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just like Eric said, they do have certain spine in the project, because they definitely paid money originally, like a lot of money, honestly speaking, to fund this. But at this point of time, so what are they paid? Like, they have to be active as well. You can't just like, it doesn't work like this, unfortunately. So we're not listening to them, and they're very pissed, but what I can do. Anyways, so now the 4 pillars is decentralized communication, decentralized law, decentralized production, and decentralized economy. So those 4 things, let's go through each one and see how we could potentially attack or implement each one of those things, because all of those things are necessary. So decentralized communication is when I can talk to Eric and nobody can see what we talk about. Telegram, for example, is not decentralized. You'll say, but Peter, like Eric, you can say, for example, like, but Peter, yesterday, I PM'd you yesterday, it was just between you and me. Yes, it was between us, but it was on the platform of Telegram. So therefore, since it was on the platform of Telegram, Telegram does have our accounts. It has my phone number and your phone number, and therefore it has some kind of control over us. So it can control the communication in some point of way. So now we basically have to trust the integrity of Telegram as a centralized authority. But it could be done on blockchain, where it's literally peer-to-peer. One box will be talking to another box. And Eric says, and if Telegram needed or wanted to see it, they could. Absolutely correct. And they probably do. And they probably do. Second, decentralized law. So decentralized law is the set of rules that all of us have to follow. And all of us have to follow. It does not mean like the laws like don't kill, and if you kill, you'll have 5 years in jail. Or if you steal gum, you'll have 1 year in virtual jail. No, it's going to be decentralized law is just certain rules that do power our network. It's just for the virtual community. Just for the virtual decentralized community. It has nothing to do with the actual criminal law or civil law. So decentralized production. Decentralized production is what do we produce as a community? The community has to produce something. For example, with this bullshit coin Libra by Facebook, which I shitted on back and forth for the 50% of the entire panel that took place on Thursday. And people who came over to me said, oh, you're very negative on Libra. Yes, I am. So what would these people produce on the decentralized network of Libra, whatever it's called, with that Calibra bullshit that they have, Calibra and Libra, whatever. So what are they going to produce? Or is this going to be just a centralized, production company on Facebook that produce media content or media platform for media companies, and then somehow it will be split between each user? Like, for example, what Brave Browser does is amazing. Brave Browser is a very good decentralized project. It's not that I'm a big fan, but I really, really respect what they do. And they created a way how each user individually could actually produce something. So by watching the ads consciously, they will help the specific either media agency or product that is being advertised on the platform of Brave Browser, or on the search engine, not search engine, browser of Brave Browser, obviously. They can basically make it better and help polish those ads, and therefore create more demand for those organizations, and for that they get tokens. It's a very genius idea, very novel idea, truly decentralized concept, at least. So it's very good. But what about Facebook, right? And same thing to us. What are we going to produce? Because if we want to become a decentralized organization, we have this network. Okay, how are we going to sustain ourselves? Like, we cannot sustain ourselves by, like, Eric, you work, and Kevin, you work, and I work, and Charles, you work, and everybody works, and we just like pour money into this project. That's not how it works. The project has to sustain itself somehow. So how does it do that? And the final one is decentralized economy. So okay, so now as we produce something, now how do we make sure that we exchange things with each other? How do we make sure that the economy operates? Obviously, we're not going to be, well, ideally, and that's what Max really sees, and I would love this to be, at some point in the future, but Max really wants to create a decentralized, closed economy where we could actually trade whatever we want using our tokens. That's amazing. That's going to be a really cool thing. So if, for example, Charles want to buy a car, somebody else will sell him a car, because we'll have somebody who is a car salesman of that specific car on the network somewhere, and the transaction will take place in our token. But this is so far in advance, I'm not even mentioning this to anybody, because this is just this is Lambo to the moon. I don't want to bullshit anybody. This is two-way, like, not there yet. Not there yet, but that's kind of the concept, right? So how do we exchange? How does the economy exist? So let's go first. If we have decentralized communication, so what does it mean? Decentralized communication means that I talk directly to Eric, and nobody can see what we talk about. It's encrypted. Only me and him can decrypt the message, and that's it. And nobody. And now, if it's a public permissionless blockchain, then people know that some transaction took place between myself and Eric. Obviously, they have to identify the public wallet address of Eric first, and the public address of myself second, and they can just type in some Etherscan that we'll create, like Etherscan for us, and they'll say, okay, there's some transaction that happened, like some message was sent, and the content of that specific transaction was the message. So the timestamp of that transaction is going to be public, but the actual content is going to be totally private, and nobody will be able to ever decrypt it. Nobody. And Eric said, imagine the internet without Verizon or Comcast. Something like that. Speaking of Telegram, by the way, how safe it is, and how that Skynetter genius guy wanted to say that he can hack us and stuff. And Max told me, I mean, Max has a very hack-oriented mindset. I just gotta stop there, describing who he is. And he said, if that idiot wasn't Telegram and he claims he's a hacker, he's a fucking idiot, because Telegram controls everything. They say they don't, but they do. And yesterday I was checking. One of my friends got a new phone, and he installed some app. And that app, like, if you type in my number, my personal number in that app, it will say that I am some kind of AI, somebody like AI bot. So that app identifies me as AI bot. Although, like, how is that possible? So apparently Telegram is giving away that information. Just so you guys know. That's how decentralized it is. Yeah, TON, right? Whatever, TON, that's the name of the token. Sure, liars. Okay, that's my personal opinion, not financial advice. Don't sue me, Telegram. So next, so how will this be done? How can we achieve potential? Decentralized communication? The best minds steal, right? Or genius steal, whatever Steve Jobs said, something like this. So we're gonna steal stuff as well. Borrow. What does it mean we're gonna borrow or steal? We're gonna look at Ethereum codes. It's all open source, and we're gonna take it. Ethereum is a great collaboration. It's a great collaboration of developers, probably the top developers. It's an amazing community. What Ethereum was able to achieve is what we need to achieve. It's an amazing community first off, and everything else goes secondary. And because of that community, they have amazing technology. And I would say it's the best of the worst, but it's the best of the worst, right? So it's also the worst, but it's the best of the worst. And these guys definitely produce some kind of revolution through the smart contract functionality. But they also have this amazing project called Whisper. And not very many people looked into that project with any kind of excitement, but it's as exciting, if not more exciting than Mist, the browser. Uh, uh, and the entire like Ethereum blockchain itself. Whisper allows people to communicate in decentralized fashion. So it's basically decentralized chat. So all those ICOs that claim they're going to redo the decentralized chat, they apparently don't know anything about blockchain at all, because that chat already exists. It's called Whisper. So what we're going to do, we're just going to apparently take those open source codes and just tweak them around, make them more suitable, not necessarily better, better is a different word. We'll make them more suitable for what we do. So those codes do exist, and obviously we need to spend some time to make sure that we can integrate them, but that's a possibility where we will be able to potentially speak one box to another box, right? Or one node to another node. So that could be done through Whisper. So the technology already exists. We know about this technology for quite some time now, not yesterday, not last week, for a couple of years. We've been carefully studying this. When I was traveling to to different countries to meet some higher people, very, very higher people, like military generals and prime ministers, for blockchain consulting, they were asking, okay, so what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? So I mean, it's been a whole history of many, well, not more than 5 years, but still a very, very large period of time of us looking very deeply and carefully into the blockchain technology itself, not AI, just blockchain technology itself. And that is a possibility. So that's how we could achieve that. We're going to take the existing codes, maybe other platforms such as Waves, we'll create something similar as well, and maybe we could take that. So there are other projects that do exist already, and we could definitely borrow those codes and make them more suitable for us. So that is a possibility, and that's a very doable possibility for us. Second, decentralized law. So decentralized law is simple. That's just smart contracts. That's the whole point of what Ethereum did. Now, each blockchain is different. So Ethereum is good just for the smart contracts, but it's not going to be suitable for what we're going to have. Our thing is, as you guys remember, right, is customization. So our blockchain is just blockchain for trading. Their blockchain is blockchain for developers. Our blockchain is blockchain for traders. And the whole point here is to make sure, and that's why every single person who joins in has to watch all the videos, has to educate themselves on what they are, right? Has to educate, has to come to webinars, has to, get to know you guys, has to trade stuff, because it's, we cannot say that every single developer is as good as Mark Zuckerberg. You can say whatever you want about Mark Zuckerberg, but he's a very good developer himself. And we don't, but not all the developers on Ethereum blockchain are as good as Mark Zuckerberg. Let's face it, right? But they're still on the platform. So same thing with traders. When I say traders, I don't mean that George Soros has to be on this platform and Warren Buffett and only those. Traders is everybody who is trading. We're not talking about the best traders. We're just talking about traders. So Kevin, you, for example, started trading. Perfect. I would obviously suggest you stick to some kind of strategy with specific exits and entries before you enter the trade, but that's a different conversation. But long story short, but you became a trader. Not a professional trader, but a trader. So that's a plan for traders. And the whole point here is to make sure that we customize the strategy. Each person has their own strategy to avoid pumps and dumps. And now every strategy, like the second that you customize and you put all this you put all that, like sliders and selected the cryptos and the allocations and blah, 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 and press submit or recompute or whatever. And the strategy pops up and then you say publish. The second you publish the strategy, the smart contract is created. And that smart contract is automatically relaying the signals to the entire blockchain network, whoever wants to see it, right? So obviously there will be some filters. For example, Charles, I know for sure Charles wants to sell the strategies, and that's exactly because nobody will work for free. Nobody will work for free. Like this whole illusion of this volunteering BS is come on. It does work for Wikipedia, but we're not Wikipedia. We're not we're a social project, but at first we're not. At first we're still kind of result oriented. And Charles will want to select his strategies. Absolutely rational move. And he will say, you know what, my filter is this. My filter is whoever pays me, X right coins for every single signal that they receive is gonna get the signals, right? So or some people will say, I just created this amazing strategy, I just want to give it to the public. So however that's going to be framed, that strategy will automatically be converted into a smart contract code, that obviously could be tweaked if necessary, if you want to. But if you don't want to, and if you don't have too much understanding of the code, then you can just like create it, and the code will be created for you based on the selections you produced, right? It's very different for Ethereum, for example, because Ethereum is created for developers. So while it's easy to create a smart contract, there are not too many functions. There are only 7 functions over there in ERC20 protocol, at least. It still requires some coding, and it's very easy, but it requires coding. But it's for developers, right? We are doing this for traders. We are doing this for affluent investors. We're doing this for middle class, upper class for sure, and they don't necessarily have the coding functionality, the coding skills, but they do have some understanding about what they want to have. What kind of risk metrics are they looking into? What kind of returns, expected returns are they looking into, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be available via smart contract functionality. So that's thought through, right? So we talked about just decentralized law. Now let's move towards decentralized production. And this is, I think, the most important part that took me forever to understand myself. When Max suggested this idea to me, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And then 3 months later, I'm like, wow, that's what you meant? He's like, yes, Peter, that's what I meant. I'm like, okay. And then 3 months later, which is 6 months later, I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is really smart. And then 9 months later, I'm like, wow. So, and Max knew this like before. And that's why, since it took me forever to understand it myself, like to not to understand it with my head, but to understand with my heart, like I'm like subconscious, whatever. Like I'm like, okay, now I feel like, now I'm not just explaining it to you. Like now I really know where we going, right? So let me try to do this one more time. I'm trying to do this like quite often to talk about liquidity. But what do we produce? What are we gonna produce? We're gonna actually produce liquidity. That's what we produce. Each box will produce liquidity. You'll say, but Peter, why the hell do we need to produce? Who needs liquidity? And I'll say, at this point of time, everybody in the world needs liquidity. Everybody in the world needs liquidity. Every single merchant, every single production company, every single logistics company, every single government needs liquidity. Everybody needs liquidity. Liquidity is something that, without liquidity, you cannot trade. Without liquidity, you cannot buy bread. Without liquidity, you cannot buy, go to that store and buy that sugar soda that I bought yesterday, right? Like you need liquidity because if the best, one of the best investors, his name is Howard Marks from Oak Tree Capital. I think his net worth is $2.3 billion. I do quote him sometimes. And Kevin, I mentioned the book to you. His book is The Most Important Thing. Great guy. Warren Buffett is reading his letters to newsletters to investors. An amazing book. I highly recommend. A very smart guy. Totally achieved it. Worked years at Citigroup. I also used to work at Citigroup, and then he left. And amazing smart guy. And he says that kind of liquidity risk is only important. Like liquidity is only important when there's no liquidity, right? So liquidity is only important during the times of financial crisis. Quick explanation. Let's assume that I have 2 houses or 10 houses, right? And they're making me rental income. But I am not owning them. I bought them on margin. So I bought them on like I mortgaged them out myself, right? So I mortgaged them out from the bank. I have some collateral. I put say 20%, 30% collateral, and I do use the rental income revenues in order to fund the next interest payment plus pay towards the principal, right? So my goal is, I mean, it's a very simple thing. I own 10 properties and I'm just renting them out. And in time of crisis, what's going to happen is those properties will basically start losing tenants because tenants won't be able to afford the rental. So now what do? Now I'm totally screwed because the bank still requires me to pay every single month, but I don't have enough. So now I start selling houses. But guess what? It's not liquid enough. It takes 3, 6, 9 months to sell a house. And it's not liquid. I cannot sell it overnight. I can sell it overnight with a huge discount. That's called liquidity. Liquidity means that you sell without a discount. If I say, hey guys, can you buy this house for $1? Fuck yeah, I'll find a buyer tomorrow. Easy. But that's a huge discount. That's like 99.999% discount. Right? So I cannot sell it. So liquidity is important when we can sell at the market price without too much of a delay. Right? That's liquidity. And Howard Marks says that liquidity is only important during times of financial crisis. Right? When everything is good, liquidity is not an issue. Same thing with discipline. Discipline only matters when you want to not be disciplined. Right? When you are in a good mood and you want to go outside and run and jog, you got to do this. But discipline is when it's raining outside and you have a headache and you still need to go and run. That's called discipline. So discipline only matters when you have to use it. Otherwise, it's not important. Same thing with liquidity. Liquidity only, and we produce that liquidity. So we produce lots of this liquidity, right? And liquidity is an important product, in this case, service that people need. We are slowly moving from product-oriented economy to service-oriented economy. Tough to understand why, because the population grows, right? Why are we going towards service-oriented economy? Because product-oriented economy is already as efficient as possible, and even now it's still increasing. Well, it's still basically becoming even more efficient. Yeah, some stuff that we eat is not very healthy, but still, I mean, in terms of the value for each dollar that we spent, we get a lot more value in terms of the products. I mean, I'm not talking about inflation, like remove the inflation, but like just from the efficiency, effectiveness perspective. So the products, we all have food. You'll say, well, people in third world countries don't. Okay, fine, 2 billion people don't. But the other 5 billion people we don't have to hunt to get food. We just go to the store and buy food. And it's the same thing everywhere now, except for the 2 billion people like in Africa and parts of India and parts of, say, Asia and parts of Russia and parts of like all the emerging countries. So service-oriented economy, we're moving towards that. Now the GDP of the US, if I'm not mistaken, is 60% service and 40% goods, aka products. And before the Second World War, it was the other way around, or even less towards service. I think before the Second World War, it was 60 or 70% goods, products, and 30 to 40% service economy. And now it's vice versa. It's all about the service, and we provide liquidity, and people need that liquidity. Everybody needs liquidity. Charles is writing. That's the whole point of the somebody. I'm not gonna jackass. Okay, fine. Who started that company to watch trade? Oh, that $15,000 dude. Yeah. Uber, Lyft, Amazon Prime, DoorDash, etc. services. Absolutely correct. And we are the providers of these services. So every single member, every single person who has this box with the high frequency trading, they are producing liquidity. You'll say, but Peter, we're also producing gains. Gains are for you. Gains are for you. Liquidity is for everybody else, and you sell in that liquidity. And people are buying the liquidity. And you're getting compensated for that liquidity. Like, that's what needs to be understood. And of course, we cannot give it to a random person. Like Eric, you said it absolutely spot on. We cannot, and Pedro, he's not here, but Pedro said, we cannot give it to anybody. We have to give it only to people who understand what they're getting themselves into. Why? Let's assume our strategy is down 30%. Could be. Guys, could be. I'm serious. It could happen. And Kevin, I'm telling you right away, say you invest $1 million, you could be down 30%. Short term, you could be down 30%. And short term, maybe the entire year. Maybe the entire year. I'm absolutely serious about this. Because we don't know what the market will tell. We don't know how AI will react. It is, but we don't know. There are no guarantees. How are you going to feel? How a new person will feel if, if they come to the market, put 10 grand and they lost $3,000. They'll say, fuck this. They'll say, this project doesn't work. They'll leave. But now that they left as a liquidity provider. So our liquidity pool just lost one soldier. And that's important. We need to make sure nobody leaves. Why? Because what we need to understand, all of us, is at this point of time, it's gains. It's only capital gains. Meaning, you buy Bitcoin cheaper, you sell it more expensive, you avoid all the downsides, you try to get to the rallies, or you avoid some of the downsides with AI, right? That's what we're trying to do to basically give you guys incentives to please consider us. Please, here we go, here, RoninAi, yes, that's us, come, please come. Like we'll try to give you the best AI. Yes, that's the incentive. But then we give you a more wide, more broad explanation. We say, no, you're not here just for the capital gains. Capital gains is a great incentive for you to be here. And absolutely, we need to make sure you grow your wealth. And we are with you, and we're going to make sure that, well, we cannot make sure, but we cannot make sure that you're going to actually grow your wealth because we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to make sure we do everything possible to make sure you can grow your wealth, right? So we'll look at the best AI models. We'll be as transparent as possible with all the returns. We'll try to improve the models. We'll try to get the more inputs. We'll try to make sure there are no issues with the database. All these things is what we do. But we're hedging you, and that's what needs to be understood. And guys who were with us, I think before April, because before April, that's what I was talking about on webinars. After April, I was talking more about like technology and stuff. So that was not very easy to be understood. But before that, I was talking more about what I'm talking right now. And guys understood it. Like Eric Charles, for sure, you guys definitely know what I'm talking about right now. We are hedging you with the right coins. Even if it's down 30% on your capital gains, you have so many right coins, you don't care. Because those right coins go up in value and you're hedged. But the only way it's going to work if you have the network. Because if you don't have the network, those right coins are completely meaningless. They are $0. Like, they're not even trash. They're just zilch. But if you do have the network, all of us are protected. We don't fucking care what's going to happen to the crypto market. We don't care what's going to happen to the AI. We don't care what happens to the fees. We'll pay all the fucking fees and and we're going to be down 50% on our capital gains, and we'll still be tremendously up on the right coin, right? So the first selling point is still AI, because nobody will buy into this idea. People will say, okay, these guys are wishy-washy, whatever guys who like think they're going to change the world with no substance. So at first, if you talking to a random person explaining this, people will be, okay, that's another like very, very hypey, long-lasting, long-looking 20 years from now project. Truth is this, the box is out. If we sell 200 boxes, we start working on the blockchain network. Within 6-9 months, we have a blockchain with that. And while we work on the blockchain, we keep selling the boxes, so we have nodes simultaneously. So we already have all the liquidity. Now we just need to sell it. And people are already buying it. We spoke to an exchange in Chile, because guys in Latin America cannot use Bitcoin. So they said, let's do HIT BTC. I'm like, okay, fine, let's do HIT BTC. You guys will have to pay commission, unfortunately, but whatever. We have to do what we have to do. We have to start somewhere. And I'm like, but let me also talk to this Chilean exchange. And I got to this Chilean exchange like I got some contact from Colombia. The Colombia contact got me contact in Chile. And then the Colombia guys came here to New York. They gave me some contacts also in Chile. Like in Chile, I spoke to like lots of people. And one guy gave me the contact to the CTO of the leading Latin American exchange, crypto exchange. And we spoke to them on whatever, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, sometime this week. Oh, Wednesday. Whatever, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, one of those days. I forgot. And we're like, okay, so 2 things we need. First of all, we need to make sure that you guys can take our people from Venezuela. And second, we need to make sure that the fees are 0. He was like, well, Venezuela is difficult, but the fees are good. I'm like fees, yeah, 0 fees for you right away. Like we didn't sell him, like we don't have any boxes. We didn't send him a single customer, not a single member, nothing. And he says already 0 fees. I'm like, okay, fine, but what about like guys from Venezuela? What's up? He's like, well, like how about we let's consider maybe creating a branch in Venezuela. And I'm like Felipe, one of our leaders from Venezuela, he was on the call. He's like, okay, let's talk about this, blah blah. And then they decided that like they spoke Spanish. I'm like, guys, please do. And they decided that maybe it's not the best idea. I'm like, okay, guys, so how about like we just trade BTC versus the Chilean peso? And both said, yeah, sure. So we agreed within half an hour call on both things right away. That's how we talk to exchanges, small exchanges. And we have nothing right now, nothing. We have nothing. We have AI, but we have no liquidity right now, right? No decentralized liquidity. I mean, you guys are trading something, but there's no way for them to check. Like we cannot like say, hey, Charles traded today for this, and Eric traded today for this, and Kevin traded for this, and somebody else, and Joel traded today for this, and overall we traded for $1 million today. We don't have that information, and they're already offering all this stuff to us. So selling liquidity obviously requires salesmanship. Obviously requires like we have to it's not going to be easy, but from what I see, it's not going to be difficult either. everybody, because everybody needs it, because we produce something that people need, people are searching for. So that's decentralized production, right? So decentralized, that we produce liquidity. Now, decentralized economy. And Charles said, we crushed the retail market. Yes, it's possible, but no shot the AI lets that happen. Oh, Charles said about the fact that like if we drop 50% on AI, and he says it's not going to happen. I really hope it's not going to happen. So now, decentralized economy. What is decentralized economy? Decentralized economy is to make sure that if we are a closed system, closed virtual network all over the world, we have people in Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, Korea. Hopefully we'll have Malaysia soon, Thailand, Epirat, obviously Venezuela. We have somebody hopefully soon in Chile and Colombia, and Argentina. So Chile, Colombia, Argentina. Obviously United States market. Whom did I forget? That's just now. Did I forget anybody? Well, guys, if I forgot everybody, oh, soon we'll have the Netherlands. Soon we'll have the Israel. Jordi, if you're with us, we'll have Spain soon, right? So like bunch of Italy, Luca from Italy, Buch, right? Hopefully soon as well. So we have bunch of nodes truly decentralized. Okay, cool. So now, why do we need decentralized economy? We need decentralized economy so we could coexist. We produce, like Eric, you have your boxes and you produce liquidity. We need to make sure you're able to sell it. And not only that, we need to make sure that somebody is willing to buy it. So we need to create a marketplace where everybody's happy. So the incentives have to be not only for you guys to be there, but also for buyers of liquidity to be there too. And they're clear, again, they're very clear incentives for those liquidity buyers to be there because they need it. They need liquidity. And we can force them to become nodes. What I want to do, and I spoke to Max, and I know that, you know, power is a drug. But after talking to some exchanges and feeling the power that we guys have as a network, like what I really want to do is this. We go to Bitfinex sooner than later and you say, would you like this, our liquidity? They say, yeah, sure, we would like our liquidity. We say there are two things you guys have to do. A, drop the fees or give us rebates. So either zero fees or rebates. And B, you have to buy 1,000 boxes to become a node. You have to buy 1,000 boxes and create 1,000 nodes and contain them and make sure that you are not necessarily trade, but just connect the boxes and make sure that the network is being run. So they become the investor. They give us $1 million and they give us no fees. And if they say no, we say Bitfinex. Great, let's go to Bittrex. Now, I really hope that's gonna work like this. From what I see right now, it likely will work like this. And again, now we are 250 people. We are 250 people in an English group. We are almost 100 people in Latin American group. We are 20 people in Russian group. We are, say, 10 people in the Southeastern Asian group with Try and Apirat. And say we are 10, but it's going to be a lot more in Korean group, in Kakao Talk. But imagine we have $10 million volume per day or $50 million per day, and people start talking about us. And I mean, I'm a frequent speaker on events, and I'm a good speaker. And what media needs some breakthrough news. And imagine that, you know, we get picked up. I always get picked up. Like, Google my name. I was talking to Forbes, to Digital NYC, to Business Insider, to Silicon NYC, to God knows. Let's just tap in it. Like bunch to Yahoo Finance. I was featured like a couple of times. Just like either RoninAi or myself, I forgot. Just like type stuff in and like you'll see, right? Imagine we actually become in the media, which is not that difficult if we have liquidity. Like people start talking to, like Charles, you're asking, like, for example, all the time. And thank you so much for asking, because the more you ask, the more I'm thinking. Charles is asking all the time. He's like, I don't get it. Why people are not jumping on this? Like, this is great. Why people are not, like, what are we doing wrong? Like, this is a great technology. And I got to tell you, the reason why we are not there yet, in my opinion, is because we do not have too much of this coverage yet. And I think we're going to get that coverage. A, we have 100 active people, active believers. And B, we have 200, 300 boxes actually trading. That's it. I think that's going to be enough. Those two conditions. And people will start jumping. Imagine if I'm on the panel at consensus. Like I'm already all myself and some members of our team already talking all the time. Here in New York, we have not connections. We founded the largest blockchain group in New York with 6,000 plus members as well. Like all that kind of stuff it matters. And when you talk to Bitfinex and you say, hey, I have this and this and this, that's one thing. But when you talk to Bitfinex and Bitfinex knows who you are, that's a different thing. And they know who we are, because the space is so small and there's so few good projects, legit projects. And our project is legit. I'm guaranteeing you it's legit. The main definition why we are legit is because we, like, in my opinion, because we don't have too many sales, as some competitors of ours who just take sales and constantly, you know, not deliver on any of the promises. So yeah, exactly, Charles. Yeah, exactly. Like the CEO of Bitfinex has to be in our group, and I'm like, it sounds very like futuristic, but he has to be in our group, because all the news he has to tell us first, because his exchange will depend on our liquidity, right? And I'm not saying this just to say, hey, look at us, we're so powerful. Well, I am, but we are producing what they need. They need that, and not only exchanges. So obviously that will be that whole decentralized economy will be mostly sponsored by Raicoins. Sponsored meaning facilitated. So if Eric would like to sell his liquidity, if I would like to sell my liquidity, if Max would like to sell his liquidity, Charles, Kevin, you guys, Happy, oh, everybody, Jordy, if you guys, Raicoins. So now, who is our competition on this? Who's our competition? So our competition is pretty severe, and that's why sometimes we talk about who it is, because we need to make sure that we understand who we are going to fight with, and we need to make sure we are protected, all of us, and we need to make sure we understand what the weak spots are, and we need to understand how we can compete most effectively to make sure that we overcompete them. So the competition goes like this. Well, first of all, what's the processes? The process, so we have these new Ronins who would like to join. Okay, cool. So these new Ronins would like to join. Now, Max wrote to me something. Let me see. Okay, so yeah. So these new Ronins, they're unaware. Like, for example, guys like Banner, Jordy, you are there as well. Like, you're one of those Ronins here. Who else is here listening to us? Oh, that's it. Luca is one of those. Oshri from Israel is one of those, right? So we have new Ronins who would like to join. Why would they join? They would join our AI, obviously, because of returns at first, right? They'll be excited because of returns. That's why we have it there. So it's an incentive for them to join. Now, obviously, after they join, they will want to get the box. Why would they want to get the box? Because of community. Our community, you guys, myself, I'm just part of it. Myself, I'm just a face of the community, but I'm not the community. You guys are the community. We are the community. So because of our community, these guys will say, okay, you know what? I actually would like to be part of this network. I would actually like to be the liquidity provider. I like to sell this liquidity. I would actually like to share the vision, because it makes sense to me. To some people, it's not going to make sense, but some people it will. So those people who share our vision, we say, okay, cool, welcome to the team. It's only going to be possible if you have a community. It's only going to be possible if you have a community. Yeah, I can sell the boxes, but I'm not selling the boxes anymore, because I understood this is a wrong approach. People just looking for returns. Returns will be provided, but that's not the most important part. And for some people, they think, oh, you know what, it's fishy. Like, why these guys just don't do what they're going to do? Well, honestly speaking, every single idea that is worthwhile is a little bit complicated. I can explain that in a sentence as well, but if Amazon's idea was very easy, everybody would be able to replicate it. If Alibaba's idea was easy, it would be replicated, right? And so on and so on and so on. So it's a very complex idea, obviously. Charles just showed, I believe it took Amazon 8 years to turn profit. I think more. I think really more, a lot more. Same thing for all the other companies who started, because it takes time to create that vision and to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And once everybody has boxes, we produce loads of liquidity, loads of liquidity. All of us, every single person, every single box, and we sell it. You guys sell it. That's your hedge against potential downsides in market. Plus, you doing capital gains, blah 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 blah. How do you hedge yourselves? You obviously get in the coins. The coins grow in value. Boom, right? That's how you hedge yourselves. Now, who are our competition in this matrix? On the return side, like in the very first spectrum, well, I'm not taking into consideration all the other competition, like competitive projects, like 3Com. I'm not taking them into consideration. I'm taking the big ones, the ones that actually matter. Banks and hedge funds, because banks and hedge funds also produce returns. Problem is, they are so full of shit, they're not producing enough returns anymore. Hedge funds are just full of unaware people, because all the aware people left the whole industry because there's no fucking liquidity, there's no fucking volatility in the markets anymore. So the smart people left. People who have 40, 50 years in the industry and who created that industry, obviously they stay because they're going to make money regardless. By that time, the reason how they survived is because they understood how to make money in any market. Volatile, involatile, liquid, illiquid, upside, downside, bullish, bearish, they don't care. They make money. So these guys are geniuses, they stay. Everybody knew, they don't know what to do. So our competition are these guys who do not want to change the status quo. They're all the guys with very thought through systems. These guys are not dumb, very smart people, people who built America partially, very smart people, and we need to obviously compete against them. Problem is, they were able to persuade all of you guys and myself that 401k is a great investment, that mortgage is a great investment, that mutual fund is a great investment, that hedge fund is also a great investment, but only for the rich people. So, and you should definitely hold all your money in the bank at 2% CD. So let's go through all of those. Is 401k a great investment? If you're not an active, if you are a sheep, yes. I still remember one of my traders, the top trader, the top options trader that I used to work for in Chicago. He said, my best investment is 401k. And after that, I'm like, after that, I lost all my respect for him. Seriously. You are a professional options trader. He's extremely smart. The guy could count like really complicated numbers in his head. Like, I'm good at math. I thought I was very good at math. After that, after working in Chicago, I'm like, okay, I have a lot to learn. Like, the guy could count crazy numbers. He could hold like, I don't know, could hold like 20 different numbers with decimal places and add stuff up. Crazily smart guy. If your top investment is 401k, he explained like this. First of all, it's you don't have to pay tax, so you make some money on that. And second, it grows, you forget, so you don't react. Here's the thing. If you're a sheep, it's a great investment, absolutely. What do I mean by sheep? Sheep meaning that you don't want to take full responsibility for your wealth, right? For your wealth growing. My main how to say criticism for 401k is the fact that you have to lock it in until whatever age. You don't see it. You are punished if you withdraw some of the funds from 401k beforehand. You're punished, I think, by 10% fee. Plus, on top of that, you have to pay the federal and the state tax, which you did not pay before. So on that money that was put to 401k. But most importantly, you have you also have a very limited selection of what you can invest. Mostly it's mutual funds that have enormous fees. So you end up with growing your assets for sure. You still grow them. You will still grow your assets in 401k after 20 years, because the worst thing you can do is bet against America. Don't bet against America, right? That's what people say. Even if China takes over, the American market will still going to grow. The innovation will still be here for the next 50 years for sure. It's still a good investment, but it's not the great investment. How much percentage can you expect from 401k? I think 3% a year, not more. Whatever they say with like, unless you are a firefighter, stuff like that. Like, I know the firefighters who got their pensions before 2008, they were guaranteed on the, like, some kind of like combination of pension and insurance, 8% a year. If it's a guarantee on fixed income, if it's a guarantee, invest it, sure. But nobody guarantees anymore. 8% is a good investment a year. And I mean, I would definitely invest some part of my capital at 8% fixed rate for the rest of my life, for sure. Because I can double my money every 9 years. So, so 401k is not good. It's very low. Mutual funds, based on my computation, you end up having 1% a year return after fees. Before fees, 4%. Now, if you do bank, 2%, inflation is 2 or 3%, so you lose on inflation right away. Hedge funds only if you have 1 million plus investment. Problem with hedge funds is this: they used to be cool. Now they're full of idiots. Some hedge funds that do deliver returns, you won't be able to get your money there. Like you won't be able, like people will not take your money for the same reasons why we're not selling the boxes to a random person. Like hedge funds developed relationships with customers who are okay with some drawdowns and who are not gonna go and liquidate their position when they see some negative returns. They develop trust with the hedge fund manager, and the hedge fund manager delivers. And if you're a new person, you have to earn your spot in a hedge fund, in a good hedge fund. Bad hedge funds will take your money tomorrow, but they'll lose them. Right? So the competition is a very strong, fierce competition, but without returns. And contingent upon we keep delivering, contingent upon we develop trust with you guys and with everybody else. That's a possibility for us to compete with them effectively. And the second competition is governments, because who is the top liquidity provider in the world right now? USD, United States dollar. So we'll need to kind of create an alternative. And what I mean by alternative, I don't mean that we need to create euro as capitalized. Ideally, yes. My wildest dreams is we become more liquid than dollar. My wildest dreams. But I'm not here to bullshit you with this, right? Because come on, how we didn't even sell 200 boxes yet. Come on, who am I kidding, right? Let's sell 500 boxes first, build a network, then I'll be hyping you guys about liquidity. Then it's gonna be like, right there 6 months from now. But becoming an alternative liquidity provider with some kind of coin that does have potential to be stable. And I don't mean the stable coins out there like Libra bullshit, but actual stable coins that is based on the liquidity that we mentioned in the previous webinar, right? The reason why dollar is so volatile is because it's extremely liquid. Same thing is going to happen to us. If you're very liquid, we're going to be very stable. There will be some volatility anyways. It's not possible to be super stable, but whatever. And Charles, 500 bucks, you won't be able to sleep. Exchange will be calling you nonstop, begging for our liquidity. At that point of time, by the way, the reason why I need the community, you think I'm the face. At this point of time, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm the decision maker. Let's be real. Let's be honest, right? At this point of time, it's pretty fucking centralized. What we do, right? I'm consulting with everybody. I'm trying to make it as collegial as possible. At the end of the day, some decisions are made, or most decisions are made by me. By the time you sell 500 boxes, I would like to make sure that it's not the case. And what? I gotta make I gotta make the marketing team make decisions? I gotta make AI people make decisions? No. We're gonna make developers make decisions because they're in the group. They're fucking working their asses off. They really know what's going on. Myself and you guys. By that time, I would like to make sure that we have a pretty good hierarchy of who does what, because it's still going to be an organization. Yes, decentralized, but still an organization. And I would like to make sure that they're not going to call me. I would like to make sure they're going to call you. So and by that time, Charles, you have to have enough knowledge to be able, hypothetically, to be able to negotiate with them, or to be able to take say, okay, let's do it, right? Kevin as well, same thing. Like Eric, obviously Eric for sure, 100%. Apirat in Thailand, you. Right, so we need to. That's why we're building what we like. It's not how to say. We're not trying to create friction because we are idiots. We are trying to create friction because we need to make sure that whoever is with us is educated enough to make sure that they can take more responsibilities down the road. So it's been more than an hour. I do thank you very much for your attention and your time on a Saturday afternoon. Apirat, it's God knows what time, 2 a.m. probably at your place. Thank you so much for staying with us, for staying with me for such a long time right now. And good night whenever I'm done. Guys, any last questions here or in the main group, please answer. And again, what we did this week as a community against a potential intruder, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing amazing achievement, and I think once we get more people with us as true believers, it's very hard to stop us. It's really hard to stop us. So, as a decentralized organization, any quick questions, guys? Just wants his box. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much for what we do. The box working on this. Trust me. I think in an hour and a half or 2 hours, we're gonna test, keep testing the BitHump. BitHump is a pain in the ass exchange, unfortunately. All right, cheers. We'll see you next week. I'll try to, Jordy, thank you so much for coming as well. I'll try to be more prepared going forward for these webinars, because you guys are coming and you guys are attending, and we see that now we're ready. Now we are very ready. Okay, cheers, guys. Bye-bye.